Welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. I'm your host, Morgan Klein, co-founder and CEO, along with my husband and company visionary, Devin Klein.
And together, with our amazing team, we are going to help you push past your limits, not just physically in our gyms, but right here, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually on the Burn Bootcamp podcast.
Together, we will take on challenges and break through barriers to transform into the best possible version of ourselves. We are more than a gym. We are a community. Your community. Let's go, Burn Nation.
What's up, Burn Nation? Amber Burke here, Chief Operating Officer, hosting Burn Bootcamp podcast, and I am so happy to be here. I have a super special guest with me today. I have Miss Karen from our Monona location. She is in our new Burn Bootcamp book. So if you haven't heard about it, we're going to talk about that just a little bit today. But one of the most special things about our Burn Bootcamp book that's coming out is that we are telling the path and the journey that our members take through our actual members, and Karen is one of those. So just to give a quick intro, Karen came to us through her daughter, Taylor, who recognized that, she needed a little bit more. Karen was starting to just feel like, it was time to take control of her health again. And so Taylor brought her in and she experienced camp for the first time, and we're going to walk through that journey today. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're so excited that you're here.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Yeah. And my apologies for being so nervous.
Listen, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were nervous the first time you worked into Burn too, right?
Oh, yeah.
That turned out okay?
Yeah.
Turned out right?
Yeah. But I will say, I usually don't talk about myself for an hour, so.
That's all right. We may not need the hour, but, it's so good to get to know you, and I'm so glad that you were willing to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit.
Yeah. You bet.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. So, when in the book you talked about before you started at Burn, there was some anxiety about working out that, you didn't know what you were walking into. You had some preconceived notions, and seems like Taylor was able to have a pretty good influence on like, Mom, just come in. Walk me through that just a little bit.
Well, I mean, some of it is my age.
Yeah.
My weight. Pain I was in, like thinking, I'm already in this much pain. But then also just not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Right before I was about to turn 60 when I started. And I was definitely overweight, out of shape. And it was in pain. Like my pain was just getting up to walk hurt. I mean, walking hurt. A flight of steps was, I was like, oh God, this is going to be a little strenuous. Just even, in bed, like laying down and your muscles and your bones would settle in. I mean, that was painful. And, but then also like I go into a gym and I'm like, I don't know what do I do? Like, okay, here's these weights. I could do this or that. Am I doing the right things? Yeah. Am I doing it in the right sequence? Am I, each day if I'm doing something different, am I doing it in the right order or a good order for myself? So, I had a little anxiety about it. And, anytime I tried something, it always failed. So it's like, okay, I just, kind of had a point of almost giving up kind of idea, just like it is what it is.
Yeah, but you didn't. You said, no, I don't want to give up. There's got to be an answer. There's got to be something. And I think that's really important to sit on for just a second, because so many people, regardless of age, regardless of gender, they come in with a certain amount of anxiety. Yeah. And a lot of times it is, I don't know what to do. Yeah. There's a lot of information. You can Google exercise. Yeah. There's influencers. Yeah. We're inundated with information, but what do you do with it? How do you structure it? Am I doing this the right amount of times with the right weight, like you said, in the right order? But even ahead of that is just the anxiety of acceptance and the anxiety of like understanding is this going to be the place for me? And what I found is with people as they're specifically stepping into fitness again, or stepping into it for the first time, there's just this sense of kind of, is this going to work for me? And am I going to do all this and it's not going to work? And so there's a fear and an anxiety there, but I'm really proud of you for overcoming it. Yeah. So walk me through that decision to finally step through the door. How did Taylor convince you? Tell me that story.
Well, Taylor had seen postings on like Facebook of the workouts, and she saw there was a 14-day trial. Okay. And so she signed up, and then she reached out to me, and it's like, Mom, you want to try this with me? And I'm like, Burn Boot Camp? I'm like,
it says boot camp.
Yeah, there's boot camp in there. And I'm like, okay. that sounds, pretty intimidating, and can I even do it? But, she asked me to do it, and I thought, well, why not try it with her,
Yeah.
So, so I said, okay, I'll join you.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. And so you stepped through the doors.
Yeah. And I'll get teary-eyed here.
That's okay. Take your time.
Yeah. They were very welcoming.
Yeah.
And accepting.
Mm-hmm. What was your biggest fear with not accepting?
Well, it's my size and my age.
Yeah.
And right away that was relieved. I didn't feel, I felt very accepted, and they were very encouraging. It's like during the workouts, they high-five me, and you can do this, and I'll tell you what, it was not easy. That first workout was so difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the environment that's there, the community that they call it. It's very, very welcoming, and
Yeah.
Easy for me to encourage other people to join. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you ended your first camp. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it with Taylor.
Yeah.
That had to be
Yeah.
special.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What was she thinking during that first camp?
She was very proud of me. She, she was like, "See, Mom, you can do it," and I'm like, of course, like, are you kidding me? But I think she knew it was her part to encourage me, and also I think the feeling of doing with others was big for me. So not only doing with my daughter, but looking around. I probably was one of the older ones and one of the heavier ones, but I felt welcomed, and they made me feel like a part of them already.
Yeah. Any special person that you met that day that you're still doing camp with? Was there like that one person? We call them raving fans, by the way. They're the kind of like, we say they bleed blue.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that really step up. Anybody step up and out that day?
There are probably a few, but I'm kind of guessing they're, if they were there or not. I just remember the ones that have been there the whole time I've been there. So,
yeah. And that's awesome. That's a whole nother level of just our community. I think fitness in general sometimes sees a revolving door of people, and you don't really feel like there is that community there. And so if you've got people that when you walked in the doors the first time that are still there with you, that speaks a lot to support.
Yes.
Also.
I agree. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. So, again, your story is so representative of many people that walk through our door.
Yeah.
And the reason that we high five everyone instantly and excessively is because we want you to know that we want you there.
Yes.
We want you to know that you are part of our family and that you are special the very first day that you walk through the door. So with the help of your daughter, Monona, you did your first camp. The atmosphere really drew you in. How did you make that decision to make the commitment?
Well, first off, we should go back to I think I made it to probably all of those trial dates.
Okay, so your 14 days.
Yeah.
You did all the 14 days.
And then probably the next month after that, I will tell you, I cried.
Yeah.
During the workouts. Literally, I was crying in the workouts. I wasn't letting people see that I'm crying.
Yeah. It looked like sweat.
Oh my, yeah, I think so. I thought, well, she's sweating a lot, all from her eyes. But, and then I'd be crying on the way home or the way to work. And
yeah. What were the tears for?
It was because, I just felt so disappointed in myself for letting myself go that far.
Yeah.
And how hard these workouts were, because it's like, oh my God, if I'm in such bad shape, that's what makes them so hard. And, just like how I let myself, get to that point. And I knew it was going to take a bit to, get myself in better shape.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if it was the workouts themselves or the variety of exercises, the group being so encouraging. But I just felt like it lit a fire in me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my, this even though it was hard, it just felt good doing it.
Yeah.
And I just, I told myself, I really want to make this work. This feels good. I want to make it work.
Yeah.
And so it was, just a great feeling to get to that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's important. You're recognizing that it is hard, but you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah.
The hard things.
Yeah. And if I could do it, anyone could. Because it's like, I was modifying like crazy.
Hey, but that's okay.
Yes.
What's really interesting too, you've been doing it now for a long time.
Yeah,
and
almost
now
5
you're
years.
in a better place. We're going to talk about your journey and the success that you've had through that in just a little bit. Before I give it away though, is it still hard? Are you still walking out going, dang, I'm sore. Dang, that was hard.
I will say on strength days,
Yeah.
My quads can be just really hurting on leg day. And there's times that I'm like, I have to take a break, partway through. Just a lot of lunges or squats can do that to me. But then also my upper body is probably my weakest. So that's, that a couple days later, it's tough. But in cardio days, I mean, it's definitely, I've taken it to the max, but I feel good. I'm not like, oh my God.
Is your max now way different than your max when you started?
Oh, so much different. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you lifting heavier weights now than you did when you started?
I am. Yeah. I'm definitely lifting heavier weights. And, the trainers are like, I encourage them to push me. Maybe that was a mistake on my part to say, hey, go ahead and push me. But, they come over and go, I think you should be doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, dang.
Do they do it that nicely? I don't get it that nicely sometimes. They just hand me the heavier weights and then look at me.
Probably both ways. They're both ways, depending on maybe their mood or how I'm looking. I don't know. But it's, I think about like when after I lost, say about, 25 pounds and I'm doing a farmer carry and I'm carrying 25 pounds and I'm thinking to myself, why is this so hard? Because I was carrying this every day.
Yeah, on your body.
But that's what, all that pain was coming from is that, what I was doing to my body with not taking care of it.
Have you noticed the pain has changed?
Oh,
has it gone away now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The pains I have are really muscle soreness.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't.
You've earned those.
Yes, exactly.
Those are earned pains.
Yeah. And I think they want me to have those pains.
Yes, we do actually. Because if you don't, then you're not continuing to challenge
exactly.
Yourself in that great way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Much so, yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your commitment. So you took me through the journey of, I did the 14 days. It was really hard. Mm-hmm. And you kind of said to yourself, but this is where I belong. Mm-hmm. This is what I got to do. Mm-hmm. Tell me about making that decision.
Well, I guess, with having such good results from it, it made me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
And I felt that, I don't know,
How did you feel better about yourself? What did that mean to you? How was it translating to you? What were you recognizing?
Well, I wasn't having the pain.
Okay.
And, inflammation was definitely down.
Great.
And my energy was up. My strength was up.
Yeah.
My endurance. I mean, a flight of stairs wasn't bothering me anymore.
Nice.
And my confidence. I had confidence I could actually go lift up that extra weight, or do some strenuous work in some place that I hadn't done.
Yeah. How did that translate into your daily with Dave, your husband, with Taylor, her little boy, her little one? How is how you're feeling now?
Yeah.
Less pain, more strength. What are you doing now that you weren't doing before?
Well, one thing is I have 2 grandbabies now.
Yeah.
So I've got my daughter has a 5-month-old, my son has a 10-month-old, and I have retired. So I retired last fall, and so now I watch my grandbabies as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I have no hesitation to get up and down off the floor. Where it used to be, I'd be like, "Where's the next chair? If you want me to walk from here to there, I'm plotting out where the next chair is to sit down." And so I mean, that's just, I don't know. I feel so much better about things, and I mean, I hate to say this in a bad way, but it's like I can see someone that's at where I was.
Yeah.
And I think, oh my God, I just want you to get to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And I just think, oh my God, I remember being there. And it's like, oh my God, it's so hard. And, it takes a while to get there, but, and I know I still got a long ways to go, but at the same time, it's so much better.
But that fire's still burning, right?
And the fire is, and it's always fun. Like I'd be at work and people are going, are you still going to, work out? I go,
that boot camp thing?
I go, yeah, 5 a.m., 5 to 6 days a week. I says, yes, I'm going. I can't believe I'm doing it myself, but I am going.
Yeah.
And if I miss camps, I'd always be like, a little disappointed with myself and but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And, I'm sure you inspired some of your circle just by what you were doing and them just seeing you make that commitment, not only to yourself, but then it really translating. And I'm sure you were showing up. That confidence really does come through.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I always felt good when, fellow campers, sometimes someone would come up and go, "Oh, you're doing so good with that." And I'd be like, really? And that's encouraging for me. And, I think, maybe I'm helping inspire someone else too. That's just getting going.
It's not
on
maybe.
Theirs. Yeah.
You definitely are. You're in a book.
Yeah.
Now you're on a podcast.
I know, it's like,
You are doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's an inspiration back to Taylor also.
Yes, yeah, she is. And, and I've gotten a few people to join too, so it feels good with that, yeah.
Awesome. Any particular camp protocol that you love or hate?
I don't know if I want to say love or hate. I mean, I know arm day is the most challenging for me just because I feel I just don't have that strength.
Yeah.
But it's definitely improving. And I didn't think leg day was, but lately leg day is getting to be a little harder.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? It shouldn't be.
Well, it always gets a little bit harder.
Yeah. And I enjoy cardio days, even though, got to work hard at it. But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in your story, you talk about some setbacks. You even talked about the pain that you even showed up with.
Oh, yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about what that was, what those setbacks were, some physical setbacks. COVID obviously was in the middle of that. I think that's really important to talk about because, we've got audience members that are listening now and they're trying to figure out, how do I go to camp? How do I work? How do I show up for my family with this pain, with this injury, whether it's acute or long-term, you just have to figure it out. I have said, I used to personal train and I would tell my clients, tomorrow is never going to be easier than today. So you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So walk me through just some of those challenges and how you overcame them.
Yeah. Well, I struggle with sciatic at different times.
Yeah.
And I can never figure out why. But I would work to do stretches, before camp, after camp, and then just, at different times, like for bed or whatever, to get through that. But then with COVID and working out at home, I wasn't being too smart, but I was working on a hardwood floor.
Oh.
And so then I got plantar fasciitis, which is miserable.
Yeah.
So, I had to work through it with, my different exercises and, a little therapy with it. So that worked out. But a couple of years into working out, I ended up having a total knee replacement. Now, it wasn't from working out. I mean, it was just the wearing out of a knee.
Sure.
And so I finally decided, to have it done.
Yeah.
And, that was...
Was that a hard decision?
No, because of the pain.
Of the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was hard, working out. I mean, I would be limping after workouts and stuff. And, and I had to modify a little bit more because of that. And I didn't want to, it would hurt to do certain things.
Sure.
But, so before I was going to have the surgery, I told myself okay, make sure you're in the best shape you can.
Yeah.
Before the surgery, because that's just going to help you so much.
Yeah.
And so, I worked at that. And then I also thought to myself, okay, make sure once you have the surgery, the therapy, make sure you follow your physical therapist's, instructions.
Yeah.
And just, because I wanted to get back in the gym and I didn't want this to be a setback for me, or I also didn't want it to defeat me. I mean, I'm like, I want to be able to get back in the gym as soon as I can. And, they had first given me 3 months, like a, whatever, suspension for 3 months is what the doctor kind of gave me. And I'm like, okay, great, 3 months,
Yeah.
But when it got to that point, I really wasn't that comfortable yet.
Okay.
I kind of felt like, I don't know if I'm comfortable going back in.
Yeah.
And so I extended it another month. So I did 4 months.
Sure.
And I just felt like I'd rather come back gently and, slowly than fail. And then it just, again, be something that now I failed on it. Okay, I've got just put 2 years in and now I'm done for.
Good for you for listening to your body. That's important.
So I, my modifications were, much further, more extreme.
Yeah.
And like for my knee, I put, I had this thick, dense foam pad that anything that I had to be on my knees for, I used that.
Perfect.
So I figured out ways to make things work for me. And yeah.
So when you went in, obviously the trainers knew that you were coming back from a surgery. So talk to me a little bit about how helpful that was. What did you do focus meetings during those times to kind of create a plan, stay on track? Talk to me a little bit about that experience coming back.
Well, first off, I was very impressed that I did get some emails or text messages throughout the process, just checking in on me, and that was
Hey,
very nice.
We're your
I know
people.
that was very nice. Yeah, they were, really instrumental with me coming back in. They really, I don't want to say they put a special focus, like it wasn't all on me, but they were watching out for me, and they made sure that, first off with, it was a total knee replacement, so I could no longer do high impact.
Right.
So I could no longer do jump ropes and so, they made sure I modified, and if it wasn't a modification for the rest of the camp, they gave me a different exercise altogether.
Right.
So it just made it so that I made sure I didn't injure myself. And even if they gave me one, they checked back, like, does that one work? It's like, that one's not working. So, it was great that they were kind of watching out for me.
Yeah.
Made
That's
sure.
awesome.
But they also made sure I didn't try to get away with something, right?
Of course they
like
did.
arm day, they certainly, hey, that's not your arm.
Yeah.
Your arm wasn't worked on. So it's like, no, you are, you got to lift more weight with that.
Trainers have an incredible nose for that. They can see it from across the room, and then they'll shout your name out over the mic.
That's the thing. I'm like, you're in the back of the gym. You should be paying attention to those people.
Nope.
Don't be looking here.
No, that's why we give them mics, is so that they can be all the way back there, and then you're over here, and they're like, Karen, we see you.
That's it. There's got to be another Karen in this gym.
Oh no. Do they say there's no other Karens in here, Karen? It's you. You're the one.
Oh, they would, yeah, if they needed to.
I love that. That's so awesome. Well, that's great. And I think, again, it's like just one less barrier, one less friction point for you to personally have to overcome when you're dealing with just getting your body back. It seems like there's just a continuance of that flame burning and keeping you going.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about just your results in general. 50 pounds.
Yeah, just a little bit over that, but
That's incredible.
Yeah. I've got more to go, but, I'm very proud that I've gotten this far.
More to go. That's wonderful. I love that. Yeah. But, I mean, from where you were and how you're physically feeling, the amount of confidence that you have and just knowing that you can be there for your grandkids and that nothing's holding you back, is that number still that important? Or is it changing just a little bit? Or are you just a super type A high achiever and you got to hit that number?
Oh, no, that number isn't, so critical or important. Because, I mean, even though I'm watching, my portions and, the carbs and sugars and drinking a lot of water, like, okay, someone's having some, celebration. I'm going to celebrate with it, Cinco de Mayo's coming up. I'll probably have a margarita. I won't have,
I'm going to give you a high five on that one.
I'm not saying I'm going to have more than one, but I'm just saying, so I'm
balanced.
Yeah, I'm just trying to balance it, and so you don't feel like you're really missing out on things. But in turn, I can also, just pass by things too, because I feel like, okay, my mindset has improved so much from that. It's like I'm not dependent on that thing to make me happy.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that. I think mindset's really important. Again, we have a lot of members that are where you were. And I think it's so incredibly important to not just look at these results. They're wonderful, but I love that you have this balance of knowing that that's not like the end all be all. It sounds like your measure of effectiveness is really truly about the lifestyle that you want to be able to have, the longevity that you're training for. But talk to me about mindset of Karen pre-burn and now. What are those biggest differences?
Oh, well, my mindset. I was depressed about how I looked and how I felt, and just that I had given up on myself. And it's like, it's almost like, who cares?
Yeah.
And now I just feel like it's like I don't worry about like who cares. It's like I care.
You care.
And
enough.
I feel good about it. And I think that probably it exudes. It's like I'm like, I think it shows that I feel more confident about myself, and just I'm out there more. And
Are people validating that for you? Are they like, wow, you got a pep in your step?
I don't know, because I think I'm a very person with a glass is half full. I'm very optimistic, so I think I try to always think that way. It's just inside. It's more that mindset is what I'm talking about is more what's inside and how I'm feeling. Yeah. So I think on the outside I've tried to be very positive type person. So I don't know that they would see that type of thing, but
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. I'm enjoying this conversation immensely, so I'm sure that it's amazing when you're talking to people in the community. Yeah. What would Taylor say is the biggest difference in you?
Oh my gosh. My energy and my get up and go. Yeah, wanting to get out there and do things and definitely with her little boy that I'm like just bring him on and I can't wait for him. My 10-month-old, she's crawling around and chasing her, whereas him he's just getting that point where
that's such a good time. Yeah. Such an exciting time. So let's talk a little bit about some modifications. You mentioned that, when you came back after your knee, there were just things that you definitely couldn't do. And I think sometimes when you think of Burn Boot Camp, the name of our location sometimes is even intimidating because it, like you said, man, that has boot camp in it. But we do have modifications. We have pregnancy modifications. Yes. I do a lot of modifications. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and so there's days where I can do it all, and there's days where I definitely can't. But sometimes there's a stigma around that. Did you feel that? And if not, or if you feel like others may be feeling that, how can you help them maybe overcome that a little bit?
I absolutely not. I mean, I don't feel there's a stigma regarding that.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, if there wasn't a modification, I mean, I couldn't have done that first workout.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that, and I could just see as time progressed how much I could reduce that modification.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I can't increase it, but, or go up in my modification.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that modifications goes both ways because, like, you might need to modify down because of pregnancy, or, like for me, I just had, some surgery, or maybe, you strain something, so you got to be careful. I mean, so a person in really good shape needs to modify. Yeah. In turn, the opportunity to modify up, it makes it so it's more, the campers are more diverse because now, I mean, I can have someone from me, my age and weight, to someone that's in, real young and in really good shape.
Yeah.
We're doing the same workout.
Yeah.
And so they can mod up, and the modification doesn't lessen the workout. I mean, you're still working as hard as you can. It's just, what do you need to get that really strong workout? Might be here, and this person might be up here, but you can both be doing it at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can be partners in during the camp and high-fiving each other, and it's like great.
Yeah.
Now, I think I look like that person that's modifying
and
up.
You do, Karen.
Until on Facebook I see like, whoa.
The BA just got a bad angle.
Yeah,
that
really, like,
you.
where's the camera on that?
Oh, I love that. But you're right. And I think, when you know that you are beside someone who's, doing something different from you, I don't think that I personally even ever recognized that in camp.
No.
I'm just excited that I got somebody next to me doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
Because, you're feeling it, I'm feeling it, they're feeling it, and we all walk out going, dang, that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm also impressed with some of the people. I'm seeing some people, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're lifting how much? It's like, and then I share that with them. It's like, wow, that's like awesome that you could just lift up that much. And,
and I'm sure that's just, again, the trickle of our community and the inspiration that I think that
I agree
that you're giving.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's awesome. That's so cool. So again, your journey is very similar to a lot of our members. And I think a lot of people that are just sitting out there going, what is the choice for me? And I think one of the coolest things that I've really heard through your message today is that community piece where it doesn't matter who you are or how you show up. You can do these things.
Yeah.
There's enough modifications. There's enough opportunity for you to just be who you are and get what you need out of it. So, thank you for that. Thank you for being willing. Thank you for listening to Taylor and going, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot.
And I think a big element in it is that your workouts are set for you.
Yeah.
So like, I don't have to figure out like, I want to do something with my arms. What do I do?
Yeah.
You just come and it's arm day, and you're going to get your exercises are set up, and you don't have to worry about that. And then what's the next day? Like the days, you're not going to have another arm day the next day. So I mean, it's very balanced.
Yeah.
And then there's other offerings like yoga. Like I'll do yoga when it comes to my camp.
Yeah.
It's coming this Sunday. And
nice.
and so I mean, that's so great that there's that opportunity to have a few other little added opportunities for people to join. So
and again, it's just balance.
Yes.
You're balancing. I'm going to go hard today on this strength day, and tomorrow I got cardio, and then I'm going to cool down a little bit with yoga on Sunday. So, and it sounds like you're really listening to your body, and that's awesome.
Yeah. I've definitely learned to listen to my body.
It's an important message.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it up, but I would love for you to just, what's kind of a final thought if you had to talk to Karen before Burn.
Yeah.
What would you tell her? What would she need to hear?
Oh, well, first off, you can do it, but it's just like just think positively towards it and take those steps. It can be baby steps.
Yeah.
to start with, but just take that step to give yourself that opportunity, because it's so important to focus on yourself, which I really didn't with raising kids.
Yeah.
And my job was more, my career was more sedentary. Yeah. And so it's just like you have to make time for yourself. And it can just be really small to start with. Do 10 push-ups on the wall. I mean, it's 10 push-ups you didn't do yesterday.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would even try to encourage different people that that I know are struggling. I'm like, well, just do that much. Just what's 10 push-ups on the wall?
Yeah.
And you just keep growing and growing. And so telling myself I can do it and not give up. And I wish an opportunity like this was here when I was much younger, because with me growing up, I grew up on a farm. And so you worked out every day.
Yeah.
Because you're
lots
having
of
to do the
physical work. Yeah.
And so there's never a mindset that you had to find time to work out or make sure you got some physical exercise in.
Yeah.
It was always there.
Yeah.
And so it was never a part of me. And then, with my age, there just wasn't gyms or opportunities like this available.
Yeah.
If there was a gym, it was, guys just lifting weights. It wasn't, an opportunity to have workouts and things like that. So,
yeah.
So it's so wonderful that there is. So it's like, now that it's here, it's like I would encourage everyone to do it.
Yeah.
So, but
awesome.
but really taking care of yourself and making you a priority.
Yeah, I love that. And that's hard to do, especially as women,
yes.
kids. I know your kids are older, but now they have little kids for you to take over now. And so it's like you're still constantly making that choice that if I don't do this thing, it's going to have a real impact.
Yes.
It's not that I'm just skipping my workout. It's this is going to impact the things that I really find joy in. Yeah. So.
And I think I feel good that if I have to miss a camp, it kind of bothers me. So I think that's part of my motivation to make sure I get there the next day.
Yeah. You can use that burn on demand video too, just to get it in if you need to at home. Awesome. Well, thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. Guys, that's it for us today on the Burn Boot Camp podcast. I appreciate you letting me step in and host. But we are going to finish this like we always do.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken out a camp?
Taken out of camp.
2 claps on 2, 1, 2.
Oh, definitely.
Do you know how to do it?
Well, I clap 2, but I know 2, 1, 2. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna say 2 claps on 2, 1, 2, and then we're gonna clap.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, okay. We'll do that.
Do you want to say it?
No, you can go ahead.
Are you sure?
I might mess it up.
That's okay. Try it one time. Hey, we're gonna step out of our comfort zone. Try it one time. 2 claps on 2, 1, 2, clap, clap.
Okay.
You got this.
2 claps on 1. No.
2 claps on 2.
2 claps on 2. 1, 2.
Yes.
I told you I could mess it up.
Listen, you did it.